Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another exciting, hopefully exciting, edition of the PapaPC Play Along series. I hope you came along for a little bit of fun and excitement today. We're going to take a little bit of a tour around to start our day off and see what's all been happening since the last time we played. It's been a couple of weeks almost now and again, and I figured we'd take a look and see what's all there. First off, we'll start over here at the barn. Well, made a little path and made it all look a little bit prettier. But basically, I've got my barn going here now. I have moved a bunch of sheep into here. Basic wood construction. Nothing overly exciting. Nothing overly, complicated. Ooh, I'm going to turn down that volume a little bit, though. Just because you'll see in a sec. We're going to turn down the overall volume just a little bit. Right now, you'll see obviously the sheep themselves are a little bit loud, but what gets really loud is the cows. I have what's called a cow crammer. The idea being that basically, if you cram enough cows into a single spot and just keep feeding them and breeding them, they run out of places to go. And Minecraft will only allow so many entities in a single spot, in a single block, at any one given time. So as such, it's still loud. So as such, they have to go somewhere, and because they can, they really can't just go nowhere. What ends up happening is Minecraft, kills them. They end up going down, and in this case, you can see I've been building up leather, building up raw beef. I actually pulled this out of here once already because I needed some steaks because I was getting a little low. And all I have to do is keep on feeding them, and as often as they'll let me breed, and it will keep putting in more of them. It's an easy, quick way to just get yourself an unlimited supply of beef and leather. And really, all it is a 2-block hole with a hopper at the bottom. I usually stick a bucket of water on the hopper just to help with the bouncing from the cows, and then I put a post over the top just to stop them from bouncing out. And I'll clean this up at some point down here, but basically then I just make a simple chest at the bottom for the hopper to feed into, and it just keeps plummeting in there. It's almost nighttime. I might have to take a quick nappy. And then let's see. My sheep, I haven't done much with them, but I am going to probably do something with them today. I have a couple ideas on what I want to do, and I wanted to see about maybe building an automatic sheep shearing machine. That might be something that, it'll help get you a little bit more wool and not have to have the worry about the manually going out and shearing them all the time. Manually doing it does seem to be a little faster because you can get multiples going at once, but with the sheep shearing machines, you can always set up multiples of them and really kind of build it up from there. We'll take a look down in the storage area beneath the house. I've done a little bit of cleanup, not a ton. Don't remember if I had finished the bookcases and filled that all in, but now I've got the table and it's up at full strength, so I've got all 15 bookcases necessary to start doing a little bit more crafting. I pushed my hallway down a little bit further, started adding some more barrels. These are going to be for the other tree types as I go out and start getting them. A place to start sticking the flowers and the dyes. Just basically a wool box that I have already going. From the ones I had from before. Right now I'm just using a little bit of a miscellaneous box, throwing a bunch of junk into it. On the other side, all my andesite and gravel and stone, diorite for, those of you who actually like diorite as well, granite, cobblestone, tons of it. I did throw myself a stone cutter from outside and moved it down into here just because it makes things a little bit easier. I did throw a smoker over here because for the food, it'll help me cook up stuff a little bit faster when necessary. There's my steaks that I talked about. I already threw in there. Might as well throw those back in here. And then I got a sugarcane and wheat one because I know I'm going to need the sugarcane at some point once I start getting villagers that I can do some trading with, especially for the wonderful librarian that I'm going to need. I'm going to want to be able to get some mending book at some point here, or mending books, as the case may be. So I'm stockpiling on the sugarcane now. And the wheat, well, I'm going to go through a fair amount of it. Who knows, maybe a villager trader as well. But really, a lot of it will end up going towards the cows and that kind of thing. Let's see, go out and about. Didn't really do much on this side. I've harvested my trees. Oh, I couldn't even tell you how many times at this point. A lot. Today we were going to talk about maybe coming over here and doing a bit of cleanup around the nether portal, just because I think right now sitting in the middle, kind of out in the open, it kind of looks goofy. I'm going to want to clean that up a little bit. You'll see a little bit of a structure over here. We'll get there in a second. I started putting a little bit of a path into the village. I started filling in some of the creeper holes that have been blowing up. I've still got a big one here that I'm going to fill in as part of my mine, but that's what this really is meant to be over here, is the start of, you know, making the mine look pretty. I got a bunch more I'm going to do with it later, but really this is just kind of some quick little shelter area I put together, stairs to make it easier to get in and out of. I'm going to want to start cleaning up a little bit more of it. For now, there's one whole branch of the mine I haven't really gone down, so I just put a wall and a door just to make sure that I don't get anything sneaking up behind me, and I'll have to go exploring on that end of it soon enough. And the mine itself, I haven't done anything with yet. Maybe we'll touch upon that a little bit today and kind of do a little bit of cleanup. But for now, that is where that is. And then we will come back out. I haven't done much with the village, not yet. I'm still intending to do a little bit more with making it look a little bit nicer and start working on some of those villagers. I have been holding off on that on purpose, simply because I want to do that as part of a bigger episode, I think, and try to really talk about how we want to build out our villagers, as well as the skeleton spawner on the other end as well. I haven't done a whole lot with that other than going and visiting it a couple times to get a few experience points. The bees, again, yeah, we're going to have to deal with those. I'm actually looking at upgrading. Right now we're on version 1.15.1, I believe it was. We're on 1.15.0. In 1.15.2, Minecraft released a little bit of a change and a little bit of an update that will now give you the option or the opportunity of potentially randomly generating bee nests. And with that, as long as you have them an oak tree or I believe a birch tree, and within 2 blocks or 3 blocks of it you have a flower, it has a 5% chance of getting a hive or bee nest on it. So I might be taking advantage of that very soon. You can see I've been harvesting quite a bit. I did do one more run out through here. I think I cleaned up most of everything already at this point, just to kind of get a little bit of a surplus and a little bit of a stockpile of more materials. Nothing too dramatic. I still was hoping actually for a mending book, but was not able to find one. So really that's about what's been accomplished off camera since the last episode. A little bit of cleanup, a little bit of, well, the barn, and a little bit of the farming over there, and then that was really about it. I did venture into the nether just to peek around and grab myself some resources, some basic ones, but nothing. I haven't really gone too far at this point, not yet. I'm gonna intend to do a little bit of a bigger episode into the nether here, but for now, I'm thinking today we might start with looking at ways of doing the sheep machine. So for the sheep shearing machine, really, we're going to need a few materials. The big one is we're going to need some iron for hopper. We're going to need nether quartz to make a observer, as well as having to make, oh, and I did get some more diamonds in my venturing around. A few more, not an extravagant amount, but we're going to need to be able to get a hopper. We're going to need to be able to get a chest. We're going to have to get a dispenser as well as an observer. So we're going to need a piece of redstone. We're going to need a couple redstone because we're going to have to make this stuff. We're going to need some cobblestone. I've got some, but I'll grab a couple more pieces. We're going to need some iron. I do have a fair amount yet, but I could definitely use some more. So for this, we're going to need First things first, we're going to need a couple chests. We're going to need one for making the dispenser, and then one for actually putting the wool into, or excuse me, the hopper, and then one for putting the wool into. So let's go ahead and make the hopper. That will do that. We'll get the hopper. Oh, actually, we're going to need more than that. I am going to need a mine car with a hopper as well. So for that, I'm going to need another hopper. I'm going to need a mine cart. You'll see why shortly. And I'm going to go ahead and make one of these into mine cart with a hopper. I don't believe I have, no, I'm pretty sure I don't have any rail yet. So I am going to have to make some rail. Let's see if I can remember it off the top of my head. I don't. So we'll make, sadly, 16. I really only need one piece of that. Now we're going to need to make an observer as well as a dispenser. So for a dispenser, we need to make a bow. So that means I'm going to need to get some string, which I know I have over here. I'm going to need one piece or string. I'm going to throw away the rest of those rails right now because I'm not going to need those up for a while. I am going to have to grab a little bit more iron because I know I'm going to need at least a pair of shears as well. So let's go ahead and make that the bow first. We'll make a bow. We'll make the dispenser. We need to make also an observer. And I think, oh, we are going to need some glass. I don't know if I have any glass down here or not. Just some panes. So I'm going to need 6 pieces of glass. Let's get those cooking up. Let's throw that gold over here for now. I'll throw it in with redstone. And basically what it's going to be is a block that we're going to have to lure a sheep onto it. I might see if I have a lead, because the lead will definitely make my life a lot easier for that. But basically you lure a sheep up onto a grass block, and then you put an observer to monitor the grass block and watch for any time that the sheep eats or changes the grass block. Every time it eats, it will grow its wool. And when it does, it will give you, it'll automatically use the dispenser to dispense a pair of shears, which will automatically shear it. And because it's there, it's just going to drop it on the ground, but with the minecart underneath, it will draw it in, and we will be set for that. Now, I will quick take a nap here, and we will come back and do this in the morning. It sounds like a complicated setup. It's really not. And what I've done many times in the worlds is actually create multiples of these as materials allow you to do. If you have enough of materials to do it, you can actually get one for each color, and really that's going to be kind of the model I'm going to work under, is one for each color. So we're going to need it. I'm going to put it over here because I'm going to actually need the grass to grow and connect to it. So I'm actually going to replace, let's do it here. I'm going to need to replace those with dirt so that the grass can connect to it. I'm actually going to temporarily knock this out, just because I'm going to want to work from the other side as well. And really what it's going to be is from the inside, but the grass is already growing. That's awesome. I'm going to put the sheep here, which means I'm also going to need to extend the grass even here and here. You'll see that one shortly. But basically, I'm going to want to put the sheep here, and that means I need to put the observer right behind it there, looking at this block to observe and see when it changes and how it changes. What I'm going to also be doing is probably building myself a bit of a working tunnel down, so I can kind of get in and get underneath these things, because underneath that one, which would be over 2 and over 1, I'm now right underneath the block the sheep is going to live on. So the block the sheep is going to live on right here will actually have to be a rail car, and underneath we'll smush, we'll get the rail car there, and then it'll feed into a hopper, which will feed into a chest. So let's go ahead and start by putting down our chest, which I didn't make another one of. Luckily, there's a crafting table right here. I still got enough wood, thank heaven. Okay, so we will do this. We're going to need the chest, and then as typically, you need to have a hopper on the pointing into the chest. And now what we need to do is actually put our rails on top of there, and then our minecart on top of that. Now what that's going to do is anytime anything, I'm just going to stick a torch down here to make sure nothing goes boom, bum in the night. What it will do is it will, anytime something falls onto this, so even a wheat in theory, it should automatically grab it and suck it down underneath into the chest. That will work great for anything coming out of the sheep. Eventually what I'll probably do is just extend this tunnel all the way down, and I'll just keep making more of these. Now I'm going to need to replace this block with an observer that's going to be looking at that block. So let's go ahead and grab the observer. I always remember, I think observers are from, yes. You can always check it by looking. The dot tells you that you have it facing the other way, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So I will put that back. Now I'm going to need right here, the other way, facing the other way, I'm going to need the dispenser. But in order for all this to work, I need to put down a piece of redstone. And I'll come make this whole back end look prettier afterwards. But basically now I'm going to need to put a dispenser there. Oop. And that will eventually have the shears in it, which anytime now that this block changes, in theory, this dispenser should fire, and it should automatically keep hitting the wrong buttons. Yes, I'm still fighting with the keyboard, and yes, I still haven't found a good one. It should automatically fire and trigger whenever this block right here changes. Right now, actually, even when it grows grass, it should change. If this grass ever grows, I could speed it up, I suppose, by changing this one as well. Just to kind of maybe expedite this a little. See if we can get that grass to come across a little bit quicker. And now what I will usually do is, let's go grab that glass. By now it should be ready. Really now it's just a matter of loading it and putting in a sheep to be watched and observed. And once that happens, we should be good to go. The glass, there it is. Probably should have made extras just in case, but you know, we'll risk it. We'll take a little bit of a chance, a little bit of a gamble. But really, that's the extent of what it takes to do one of these. It's not overly superly complicated, but it does take a little bit. I can actually go ahead and get it loaded now. I'll do 2 glass here, 2 glass here, and 2 glass here. That will surround it enough to make sure that it doesn't it doesn't get out. What I will do though now is probably grab one of these sheep and lure one of them out. Probably just use where to put the gate. Did I not put a gate on this? There it is. I'll probably try to grab myself a white one. Black one got out. Oh well. Worst things have happened. Let's put this one back on here. Let's see if I can get him to come in here. Yeah, I'm not gonna make that jump, am I? Nope. I can. Let's see if I can get him to get in that little groove. No, you silly one. I'll just try to push him in. It works. And now I should be able to get my back and refill in wherever the wood. Oh, it actually just did it. That is awesome. You will see. Let me grab that back. It grabbed 3 wool, and now every single time that sheep eats that grass, it will change the grass. It will trigger the observer, which will fire the dispenser, which will shear him. The reason I have the glass here actually is because I wanted grass there and grass there. It just did it again. And by having glass on top of it, it won't actually prevent it from being there. It won't automatically turn it back to dirt. I'm hoping this one will turn to grass as well, and then once it does, I can get rid of this one. But basically, those 3 blocks surrounding it, being grass, will continuously feed this and turn this back into grass. And every time it does, oh, I gotta go fix that from the outside. Every time it does, it will harvest more grass for me. Let's see. I need a couple more slabs. Oh, those are full blocks. Never mind. Those weren't slabs. I am losing my mind. You know, it happens. But basically, that'll stop anything from the outside from getting out or freaking out. And I'll probably do is maybe just do like a little bit of a slab or maybe some slabs and stairs around it to kind of cover this up. I haven't found a good way to hide these redstone pieces that are necessary behind it. If anybody else knows, I'd love to hear it. I can't put a block right on top of it because it'll actually take it out. But if you know of any other ways of handling that or hiding that, definitely leave me a note. I would love to hear more about it. Let's see. So we're up to, well, one of them stayed behind, so I got up to 6 already. It's giving me 2 per pop. That is phenomenally awesome. And really, it's what I can do now is just keep continuing this down all the way. And as I do, I could really, I'll put a gray one in the next one maybe. And if I do, I'll just fill them all with whites or grays or whatever. And then I will dye them. And there actually is an advancement if you can do one of every color wool. So best way to do that is to get one of every color sheep and just have it start harvesting. Then when you want to do building projects later, you never have to worry about running out of any of those kinds of things. It's a neat thing to have. It's a neat thing to do. And actually, it really wasn't very complicated. It wasn't very difficult. It was just a few materials, a few resources, fairly heavy on the iron, but not killer heavy. But it definitely does use a wee bit. Some of the stuff now that I have, the rails will be easier. I won't have to burn through another 6 pieces there, but it will give me, you know, enough that I should be able to do from the rails, enough to be able to do all the sheep. Now, I won't actually do all the sheep right now. I just don't have enough iron to do that, but I do have enough. I could do a couple more, but I'm going to hold off and really concentrate more on doing some of the other things. As we get materials, as we get resources, I will probably look at doing more with that. I'm not, really, in a bind that I have to do that right now. I don't have any big projects that need that level of wool, but I will probably at some point. So for now, that probably is sufficient, and I'm not going to be overly excited to do too much more. I do believe I had the diamond sword last time, but really what I did was I did take a bunch of the books and started combining my items together. The looting 2 was really one of them that I was really looking for. I do want to get mending on this thing at some point pretty quick here, as well as my bow. I went with infinity instead of mending, and I think that's going to be perfectly good. And then my diamond pickaxe, I did add Fortune 3 and Efficiency 4 on it from the books that I found from my AFK fish farm. Those are definitely awesome things. I just need to get the mending on there. I will also need to see about trying to get a Silk Touch pickaxe at some point, just because it's going to make my life a lot easier from a building perspective. But for now, it is what it is, and I'm okay with that. Let's see. So what I want to do maybe next, and today here, probably the last big thing, eventually I want to go gather resources more, but I'll do that again off camera, just because I don't think you guys need to sit and have me watch me mine for hours on end. I do want to do something more around this area. I think first things first, I gotta clean up a little bit of this over here. Maybe make this a little bit less dangerous so I don't accidentally trip into it and fall into it. Especially this side here. I don't think I have quite enough dirt to fill it all. But I'm just topping it off just to kind of make it from the surface look nice. I'm going to still keep it underneath as a area that I'm going to be able to go into, because I'm kind of working my mind that way. But from the outside, it is there. As far as how you'd like to terraform and how you want to do your area, your worlds, when it comes to nether portals, I tend to like to make it look almost like the world's a poisoned or infected route. So what I like to tend to do is put a lot of almost dead looking material around it. I'll probably put a lot of cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, things that might look less than good. Ideally, if I had even some dead coral, or if I had Silk Touch and I went out to the desert and got some like dead sticks, those really look kind of cool around it. And then I might even do something around it with putting some nether brick or things like that, some of the materials and resources you get from the nether. I think that would look good. Soul sand, those pieces. So if I'm going to do all of that, what I'm going to want to do is go and get myself probably some more pickaxe, probably just a couple stone pickaxes, because I don't really have a ton of iron at this point to really build up and start using iron. But what I will do is just grab a couple iron pickaxes, make a quick trip into the nether, and grab some resources and materials. Then I'll come back, maybe grab some andesite, maybe some gravel, some different grays and browns, and kind of build and surround around this area. Anytime I go in to the nether, I always get a little concerned. I did throw a bit of a shelter around it. Hello, Mr. Bat. Just to kind of protect me in case there happens to be any bad guys right around here. I don't see anything right away, so that's a good sign. Maybe, who knows, maybe I'll even grab some glowstone or something like that. I'm just taking a peek around, make sure that nothing's there. At some point, I may even do something with some of the zombie pigmen. I will have to look a little bit more for a blaze spawner and a blaze farm, but for right now, I think I'm just going to go into the side of the hill here, being careful, since it looks like that might go down to nothing, to grab some of this wonderful netherrack. I don't think I'll need a ton, maybe a stack or two. I think that should be sufficient for what we want to be able to do around, just really around the nether portal. I'm not really looking to do mass quantities of this, and I'm not really looking to do a massive terraform of this area. This little hill here actually kind of is in my way. I like having the ability to at least see what's around when I come out of there, and make sure there's nothing too much going on there. Oh, mushroom. And I think this will be a helpful thing to kind of knock down a little bit. And just a couple top rows should be sufficient for the projects. I might go and grab a little bit of soul sand as well, because I think that kind of looks neat around that area. Yeah. The zombie pigmen are always grunting and groaning. I'm actually kind of excited for the upcoming, releases from Minecraft, especially when we start talking about the big nether update that's going to be coming out at some point. I would assume it'll be this year. If I had to guess, I would say maybe mid-year. But right now, I'm really kind of interested in looking at what the piglins is going to look like and what some of those pieces are. So what you may see is that this world may get continuously updated and upgraded to the new versions. I'm probably going to actually put the 1.15.2 on here so that I can actually get the trees to potentially spawn us some new bee nests or beehives. Boy, oh boy. Everything from here is a drop down, isn't it? Let's see if we can build ourselves a nice little stairway down. Do we have any soul sand over here? It looks like we've got some more nether quartz, which, is always a good thing. I'm only using the diamond pickaxe here to make it a little bit quicker. It's not that I really needed to, or it isn't a necessity. I just wanted to do that quicker. I figured since I'm here, I might as well get that quartz. I'm not overly greedy. I'm not going to steal it all. I am still looking for some soul sand over here, maybe. Luckily, I got the big behemoth of a portal there, or the portal room, if you want to call it that. So I'm pretty safe and guarded there, so I don't have to worry about that. I can spot it and find it pretty quick. Just looking for some soul sand so that I can not fall. Looks like we've got some magma blocks down there as well. That could be kind of cool. I'm still not seeing anything for soul sand. I might not be able to get that today without doing a little bit more adventuring, and I don't think we're looking at spending too much time in the nether today. Just for soul sand. Take a quick peek over here. If I don't see anything obvious, we will probably move on and just go without it for now. I will always come back and touch it up later if need be. Maybe I'll even do a little bit of offline, hunting around in the nether, kind of looking ideally for another fortress, kind of something to get us started so that we can start looking for blaze farms. Right now, I'm seeing a whole lot of nothing, which, as always, seems to be the case for me and nethers. Very seldom do I ever get a whole lot of anything really useful or great near my nether portal. Yeah, nothing down there either. Nothing but disappointment. So I will get back up to my house here, or my spot. Go back in, and we will just have to make do with what we got for resources. No, for the netherrack, really, it's... Oh, wow, I got way more than I thought I did. Make sure everything's safe over here. I'm really thinking just, not a ton of it, but a few pieces. I may even put one up on top and maybe even light it on fire. But a couple pieces here and there. Around it, kind of half random. I don't want to overdo it with the netherrack. It is a neat block and it is interesting, but again, I think it's real easy to overdo it if you wanted to. And I don't want to go too far out from the nether portal. I want to kind of keep this a little bit of a runaway click on the mouse. Want to kind of keep it somewhat there. We'll go grab some more materials. Sun's going down, so we'll probably do a quick sleep through the night as well, kind of prevent anything else from spawning on us, and hopefully grab some other materials, some diorites, maybe even gravels, as we said, and stick with that kind of bland theme or the dead theme. See what we can do. I don't think we have any mossy stone. It looks like we have a couple pieces of iron. We could turn a couple pieces in, but I'd actually rather get that mossy, the moss hung up and start growing more, or not the moss, excuse me, the vines, and growing a little bit more of it prior to us actually trying to harvest and use it for anything. So let's see, we got some cobblestone, dirt, granite. I don't want to do any granite. I think that would look too harsh. I think gravel, we can grab some of that. Andesite always looks good. Actually, we'll grab a bigger stack. I don't think we have anything too interesting in the other random stone, just a couple pieces of obsidian. I think these were all just empty, so I just made the barrels and put them there for later. As far as in there, nothing I can really use for the building. I don't think there's anything from a wool perspective or flowers or dyes. At some point we'll maybe get some nether roses or things like that, something dark. We don't have anything now that could really work. None of the oaks. I mean, I guess I could do something with like a cold block or two and kind of get that black look, and it's kind of a little bit of fit in with that. Maybe grab a couple cold blocks. Yeah, that might work. Grab a couple of those. Yeah, it's a little bit of a waste of resources, but in the end, I'm okay with that. It'll be some good aesthetics and kind of make things just a little bit nicer. I think that might be enough for now. I actually was wondering if maybe, yeah, no, the red just looks too much. I was kind of thinking maybe it would give it a little bit of an interesting look. I may sprinkle some redstone on the ground, kind of give it almost a little bit of like a bloody look. I'll have to grab a flint and steel so I can light maybe that one up on top as well, and kind of stick that in. Let's see, get rid of that. Maybe stick in some andesite in a few blocks. And really, that's all I'm doing is just kind of spreading around the materials we have, and seeing what we can do with them. Let's see, maybe if we even put in a little bit of the... Didn't I grab? Oh, yeah, gravel's already there. Gravel was right there. Maybe a little bit of gravel as well. Yeah, they're awfully similar, but they do give it just a little bit of a contrast. It is kind of needing something. I don't know what. Like I said, maybe some more. Maybe some of the. I want to use the coal kind of sparingly because it almost blends in with the obsidian, and I don't want it to be that much, to look that much like the obsidian. But I think we can do kind of a mixture of different materials here. I'm going to want to probably add maybe a little bit of height as well, just because I think that it's really easy to kind of think two-dimensional and not really kind of expand upon all the different options that you have with your portal. Around this side, work on one side at a time. It's getting there. It's still missing something. I need a little bit more. Maybe I'll get some bushes and put them around there, so at least maybe it looks like it's overgrown. I think I might even have some in the chest up here. Yeah, one oak leaf. I'm gonna have to get some more. Maybe some vines too. See what that looks like. Maybe I'll go get something a little bit darker than the oak. Maybe I'll get some of that spruce that's over there. Some little spruce leaves and see what, and we'll have to see. Maybe that'll work. I think with a little bit of vinage coming down around the outside of it, I think that might help blend it in and kind of take a peek at it and kind of see what we can do with it. I'm going to experiment and play around with this a little bit more. Maybe mix in some stairs. and maybe mix in a couple things just to give it a little bit more texture. I think that might help us with it a little bit. Maybe we'll do something with the andesite. Maybe make some stairs. Maybe even do something with the nether rack. Can you do stairs? No, you can't. I was hoping you could. It was worth a try. But we see how some of that will work and how that would look. I think a little bit with it on the side and on the edges. Kind of a little bit of, it doesn't look so bad. That kind of gives a little bit of depth, a little bit of character, something other than just, you know, a flat surface. Let's get rid of that gravel, put it in. There we go, a little bit more of that. And then I'm going to kind of just expand around this and maybe go a little bit further. But really, for today, I'm going to go back and take one more look at the sheep shearing and see how that's doing. I think that's kind of where I wanted to get to today and kind of lead off to. Is really just kind of giving you the basic starters on sheep shearing, and then maybe a little bit with, you know, doing a little bit of decoration around the nether portal. You can see even in here, I didn't do a whole lot. I just blended a few different woods together. I purposely left this open, mostly for myself, because I tend to spend some time in here, and when I do, I've been having a lot of patrols come around, and I wanted to be able to see them coming when they do, because, well, every time they do, I tend to, if I'm not careful, I tend to get in trouble, because there tends to be a leader with them, and when he is, I don't want to kill him. I don't want to trigger a raid on the village. Not at this point, not yet, especially at some point I will. Wow, look at that. 23 wool already. That thing is just cranking. I'm going to definitely pretty this up as well, a little bit around here. I think that'll help. It's good to see that we've got the grass there and there, so I think everything's coming along there nicely. I will probably see about expanding this. Maybe I got another, you know, a grays in here. Maybe I'll throw those over in there, and the black one, maybe I'll even put one in there if I can get a little bit more iron. And that should let me get rid of the rest of this in the middle. I'll probably end up lining both sides with sheep shearers. If I want to be able to go with all the colors. We'll see how that goes. And then I think for next time, what we're going to want to do is we'll tour around and do the cleanups, and then I think it's time to either start in on the village or start in on the skelly spawner, and really kind of clean up one of those two. The mine definitely can use some cleaning. I'll see, maybe I'll do a little bit of that offline. While I'm down there pounding away looking for some more resources. I got to get a ton more iron for sure. That is probably the biggest one I need. I think everything else is sitting okay from a materials perspective, but the iron is definitely in trouble, and we're definitely short on that. So for today, though, I think that is where I might just leave off. And I might just say thank you, everybody, for listening. And again, if you can, if you have the ability, I would love it if you could go out and click the like and subscribe buttons. It goes a long way. It helps me out an absolute ton when it comes to being able to put out the content and get everything out that I need. I think that when we get to working in, you know, some of the things like the nethers or things like that as well, I'm going to need more resources, but that'll be for next time. But again, for those guys, if you can, everybody out there, I would like to say thank you very much. And if you can, like and subscribe. And until next time, this is PapaPC saying thank you and have a great night.